So I'm a little conflicted. I have a strong belief never to get back at anybody for anything. And I've stayed strong for this my entire life. When my mother was whacking me with a ruler, I never hurt her back. When I was being poisoned and told to take dangerous things, I never got anybody back. When kids were trying to fight me, I just defended myself and tried to protect myself. Never fought anybody back. I never went looking for trouble. I never tried to teach anybody a lesson. I've never put my hands on anybody in anger. Most of the time, people are getting into my face, coming up to me, and I try to walk away, and they chase me down, getting in my face some more. They hit me, they slap me with a belt or something like that, like some of these other kids might try to do. And then I would just try to defend myself, roll around the ground with them until they're done. And then we would split up, and I would let it go until they hurt me again, and then I'll try to defend myself, and then I'll let it go. But see, a lot of people hold a grudge or they try to get back at people or teach them a lesson. And this is where I come conflicted. I've spent my entire life taking shit. That's been my policy. Be like Jesus. Just take it. Just sit there and take it. And if it's something violent, like somebody trying to stab you or rob you, you defend yourself. You grab their arm, you throw them to the ground, you do what you got to do to disarm them, and then you call for help. But when you see this man again, you don't try to hurt him, you don't go after him, you tell him that he's forgiven. And that's been my attitude. Sit there, take it, try not to get hurt, and then forgive them. But am I willing to die, physically die, in the woods for my family? No, they'd never even asked me to do so. They're just doing it anyways. They're setting it up anyways. My mother made statements to the doctors preventing me from getting the health care and the treatments I need. That is something they're doing. I'm deciding to go to the doctors I need. I'm deciding to go to work. I'm deciding to go to social. I made all the decisions that I need to make right. I'm deciding to stay sober, live in my apartment, help the elderly, stay out of driving until it's time to drive because I know I would just injure somebody else and myself. If I can't control my legs and I can't control my arms and they spasm and shake, what would happen behind the wheel of a car? I would crash into a tree or somebody else. That means that if I drive without this epilepsy medication, without doctors knowing what's wrong with me, then somebody will get hurt. Now, my family is okay with that. My family wants me to drive off the road and hurt somebody. That's what they want. They know I've told them that there's something wrong with me. I've told them how epilepsy medication helps. I've told them how doctors are thinking that it's some type of epilepsy disorder. I told them that's been around for 25 years. And instead they go, just drive anyways. They think that I should just drive anyways into somebody without even getting treatment. They think that I shouldn't even mention that I what the cause or when this started. When a doctor asks me, when did this start? I should keep it a secret, my family says. And I should also keep my mother out of it somehow, even though she's the cause of my injury. If somebody literally hits you with a car, you don't keep the car out of it. And that's what my family wants. They want me to keep my dead mother, the car, out of it. I got hit by a car. My mother's created a machine. My mother and father continue. Well, my mother passed away from drinking and drugging, but, anyways, my father still continues to make up stories with my doctors anytime doctors, Social Security, or the state needs background information from my childhood. Because seeing as this has been an issue, I mean, I didn't drive for the same reason. Most people are like, well, this guy would have driven by now. I mean, he's passed everything else and he had a learner's permit. But there's something else definitely going on. No, no, he's just stupid. La, la, la. We're not going to listen. La, la, la. No, no, no. It's all a fantasy. La, la, la. That's what my family does. They cover their ears. They don't want to hear it from me. They don't want to remember stuff. They don't want to go over information. It's much easier to blame the victim, hurt the victim, try to kill him off, shut him up, drug him, so he can just live in the woods with no car, no job. I mean, he has a job, he's just not allowed to go back. And by the time, a year goes by, will that job still be there? Who knows? So, what does that job need for Zach to go back? What do I need? Well, I need to go to the doctors, and the doctors need more information on my epilepsy. Okay, so who has more information on my epilepsy? My father knows all the doctors and all the schools I ever went to. We know when this started. We know the cause. We know why the doctors had difficulty diagnosing it. We know more injuries that happened in New Mexico. We know a lot now because I've spent 25 years just documenting every little bit that has to do with my shakes, my movements, my lack. Like, for instance, one thing I documented is when I was throwing a tile. I used to throw, skip rocks, throw tiles, play a basketball, and I would get this spasm. It's just my shakes. It's the epilepsy. It's just the movements. It's just whatever. But what it is that I'll send a signal from my brain to my arm, and sometimes it'll get disrupted into a spasm. So let's say that I'm trying to throw a tile. I will let go late. They will get a little screwed up. The signal will kind of hurt a little bit, and I'll let go late. And it didn't really hurt as much until it got worse and worse without treatment. As my mother continued to drug me on Halloween, slip me pills, and things like that, of course, this condition got worse. And whatever you want to call it, it's really called a neurological disorder. Now we know the symptoms, we know when it started, we know the cause of it. We don't know exactly what medicine caused it, but we know a bunch of the medicines involved. We know I was over medicated. We know my mother slipped me pills because we know about the Halloweens. We know about my adoption, so we can add that in. So, with all this information, it's very clear what was going on. So now the doctors can do something to help me. We can get a diagnosis put down because we have the information and we know what it means now. Also, because we know what drugs help me, epilepsy medication, we can do something to improve it. And oh boy, they make big improvements. But most of them I can't take until the doctors have more information from my family. So what happens when my family is reached out to? Oh, they try to make things worse. They cut off my insurance, cut off my bracelets, tell my doctors that I'm just mentally ill. They double down on he's lying, it's all a fantasy, it's all made up. Don't help him. No, 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 no. He's lying. I went to Texas because I got a job. Nothing to do with his goddamn mother. Yes, yes, yes. Blah, 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 blah. That's my father for you. That's his wife who knows nothing about it. She's just repeating whatever my father tells her. Plus, all she knows about me is whatever my mother told her. I'd like to see her name anything I told her about. Let's see. How many things did my mother do bad to me? Let's see if she knows those things. How many awful things did my mother do to me? Because my brother knows a couple. My nephew knows a couple. My father can even name a couple. How many things can Alice name, that is my father's new wife, that my mother did to me? So let's see if she really knows me. How many bad things does she know about that my mother did to me? How many? Name some. She would struggle. She could probably only name things that she's overheard me talk about, or Tim, or her husband, or some random person, and it's probably all messed up. You should ask the person who was there. When it comes to my mother and me, in private, she was doing stuff that I know about for sure. But there's other times where Valerie just overheard something, and then as soon as I left the room, my mother tried to backtrack and story tell her way out of it. Kind of like when she threw away all my toys that I could care less about. I could care less if my mother threw away my toys. But lying to the family, manipulating doctors, and drugging me, I do care about. But here's the fact. When she threw away my toys, it was because she had a mental illness and she was jealous. How do I know this? Because when I came home from school, I asked her, is all my toys gone? Why are all my toys gone? My mother told me, it's because you like your toys better than me. My mother was jealous of my toys, so she threw away my toys. She saw me playing with my toys. She knew I liked my toys, so she got jealous and she threw them all away. Now we know this for a fact. Just me and her. I'm speaking to my mother in private. I'm coming home. I'm asking her a straight up question. Why are my toys all gone? She said she threw them away. I ask why. She says it's because you like the toys better than me. Straight to my face. Then later, I ask the same question in front of my family. I say, Mom threw away all my toys. Why? Why? And then, honey, why'd you throw away the kids' toys? And my mother goes, it's because he didn't clean his room, of course. So we know my mother is coming up with two answers. She's lying, she's manipulating, and she's jealous, and she's acting really crazy at the doctors. She thinks I'm out to get her, writing my name on things because I was out to get her. When what was the truth? I won a medal in an orphanage, and she went nuts. So there was a lot of these times where my mother's going nuts, but instead they're just blaming me. No, it's all Zach's fault. No, Zach's the one who's nuts. Zach's mentally ill. No, he's stealing medals from African Americans, writing the name on it to get back at the mother. It means he has attachment disorder. It also means he's a liar and a thief and this and that and this and that and this. It means all this stuff. That's instead. Instead of the truth, Zach just had a medal from the orphanage with his old last name on it. They got to come up with it means this and it means that and it means this and the doctors need to give him this medicine and I need the doctor to write down that you have attachment disorder and I need the doctor to write down this and the doctor needs to write down this and then we're going to use that as proof in Texas and then we'll try to get the doctors to write it in Texas. Oh, well, the Texas doctors don't like me apparently. Well, then we'll put them in New Mexico. Oh, now we got abused in New Mexico, but we'll bring them to Maine because we want to buy and sell houses. Then we'll bring them back to Mass. Now we want the doctors to drug them, drug them. You see all this paperwork I got? Yeah, write more paperwork. Yeah, we want you to sign this. Yeah, our son's bipolar, sign that. Okay, our son has this. We want you to sign that. And then we'll bring that to other doctors as proof. And then when he's 32 years old, we'll dig up 15 years of doctor's notes and call that proof. Hey, look, we told the story at a doctor's office and he signed off. Oh, did you put me through the attachment disorder machine? Because I remember showing you my swimming medals, tucking you in at night when you were drunk on a couch, Dad. I remember telling you the truth about everything, asking you for help, begging you to let me come home already, begging you to let me live with you, begging me to stop, begging your wife to stop hurting me, giving her love, hugging her after she just hurt me. My mother would just whip me with a ruler, and then she'd want me to give her a hug that same night. And did I give her the hug? Yes. I unconditionally gave you guys love as you guys hurt me and told stories about me at the doctor's office that just weren't true. Nothing was based on reality. What was based on reality is like I played with a match to see the glowy thing. But then my mother would do all this wacky stuff with a 5-year-old to come up with all these illnesses to confuse my father and drive him and me nuts. My mother drove me nuts, my father nuts, but now my father's running away from that because he says it's all over with now. She's dead, so we don't have to deal with Zach or any of the damage she did to Zach or all this stories that she told to the doctors. None of that matters anymore because I can run away, my father says. Well, guess what? You can't because I'm still here and I'll chase your ass down. I gave you a nice vacation. Yeah, now it's time to fix this. If you don't, I'm coming. I'm coming. It's not like I'm going to live in the woods this time. No, you got that. You got me to live in the woods. Good one. Ha ha ha. You know, you dropped me off at a shelter I wasn't allowed to live in. Great. I had medical conditions, so I wasn't allowed to live like that yet. You want to drop a kid off in the middle of nowhere to live? You can't cripple him first. Those are the rules. If you want to drop off somebody like me in the middle of the fucking shelter to live, you first can't cripple them. You can't use them for Social Security, and they need an education. You didn't do those things, so you have no right to drop me off yet. You have to make up for your no education. People can't be dropped off in the middle of nowhere with missing 4 to 5 years of education. They also can't be dropped off with no ability to live in the shelter due to a disability and being made crippled by your wife. Also, the fact that I was keeping a secret, the secret that your wife, your new wife, your third wife, brought in illegal drugs to your house, and that's what I took. I didn't mention that to anybody in the family till now. I've been literally keeping my mouth shut about this stuff. I never mentioned anything about my father stealing my Social Security. I kept my father happy. I kept my mouth shut. I backed my father every time I could. I backed my mother every time. And all I asked is you stop hurting me, stop lying about me, and stop making up stories about me. And still today, they cannot stop. They cannot help themselves. Hurting Zach is just too fun of a pastime for them now. It's just a habit of theirs. Blame the little orphan kid. When in doubt, blame the little orphan kid. Come up with a fantasy because you heard something. Well, I remember hearing something about you, and you had a funny voice, a funny walk, and you always acted funny. So you must have did it. That's their attitude. What? What did I do so funny? I sleep without a shirt on? Well, my father does that too, so does that mean my father's funny? Well, no, he's different. He can sleep a shirt with no shirt on, and he can walk around children with no shirt on. Well, I wasn't walking around children with no shirt on. You had your person crying, and I just went downstairs to get you. I asked your daughter if she wanted her grandmother, and I went downstairs and got you. That's all. I was in the other room. I had full pants on, pajamas, socks. I think I even had my shoes to go down the stairs. I had everything but a shirt, and it's not like I hung out in her room. I went in the doorway, asked her if she wanted her grandmother, and went downstairs. But instead, these people want to whip me, beat me, yell at me, make me out to be a sex offender. Meanwhile, my father the next day is walking around with no shirt on from the pool. Yeah, he'll walk around children all the time with no shirt on during the day, just like it's no big deal. And that doesn't matter to them. See, it's a double standard for them. They want to hurt me. It has nothing to do with the no shirt. They can see somebody else with no shirt and it won't matter. Tim, my brother, he can walk out of the bathroom with no shirt on after going to the pool in front of all the children he wants and going to get a shirt on. He can walk from the shower to the bedroom to get a shirt on all he wants. Me? No way. They'll berate me. How about normal stuff like just trying to sleep or go to bed? No, no, no. I got to be woken up in the middle of the night by my mother who's seeing shadow people so they can berate me and tell me about the people I must have upstairs right next to my mother's room. Like I'm fucking idiot. I'm like 19 years old. I have no friends that can come visit me. My mother scared them all off. And even if I did have some friends, we would hang downstairs where they would come in. Nobody can get to the top floor without being hurt. There's all those steps. Nobody's that stupid. None of my friends would ever dare in the middle of the night try to sneak past my mother's fucking room with a mirror pointed through it. Then none of them want to even come up a step. None of them would even come near the garage. Fuck, nobody would come at night. Nobody would come during the day with my crazy mother there. Parents were saying, no, no, Zach, you can come to our place. But we don't want our kids going to your place. The only parents that would let anybody come to my house are parents that never met my mother. I used to have to try to keep my mother from these other parents. It was terrible. Because my mother was seeing shadow people, and by the end, she was coming and waking me up in the middle of the night, telling me how she saw two people in my room. And who was I talking to? I said, probably a TV, or maybe you heard me talking in my sleep. A lot of my roommates, when I was in a lot of these orphanage program type shit, used to tell me I talk in my sleep. Maybe that could be it. Apparently, I mean, that's common according to other people. I don't know because I'm asleep, so I don't know if I'm talking in my sleep or not. But whatever you're doing in there, there's nobody here. There's nobody. You're on the second floor, and your room is right there, and you're watching the mirror every night for nothing. There's never been a friend at my place in the last 6 years because of you. There's been nobody over. You've driven all my friends away, okay? There's no friends coming during the day, no friends in the morning, no friends at night, and no friends in the middle of the night. And definitely no friends going in a garage, through a living room, through a kitchen, through a hallway, up a flight of stairs, right by a mirror pointed out, right by that mirror. I mean, they have to literally just come right into basically my mother's room and then take a right and come into my room. No, no. And the only reason why I'm sleeping there is because my father stole money that was supposed to go to my rent. Yeah, Social Security was giving me rent money, money for housing, money for food, and money for clothing. My father decided to steal it when I was supposed to go to my program because I was now 19. So I was supposed to stay at that program up to age 27. So from age 18 to 27, I was supposed to stay at this program. My Social Security was supposed to be handed over to me and this program, and I was supposed to pay $600 in rent every month, and the rest of the money was supposed to be showing me how to budget my food, how to buy transportation, how to reapply for Social Security, things like that. Instead, my father decided to pocket the money for himself, but he signed illegally paperwork that could give you almost 2 years in prison because he's now filing paperwork with a state program and lying on the paperwork. Then he also lied on the paperwork through Social Security. He lied to the state, and he lied to me. So he lied to everybody, and that is a big crime in the state of Massachusetts if you're trying to steal money from Social Security, but then also hold that money from a state program that requires the Social Security to pay my rent. And my father was pocketing the rent, saying that there was no such thing. So then when I go to apply for Social Security so that I can pay my own rent, and because everybody says I walk funny, talk funny, and I take a lot of meds and I should be on Social Security, when I try to apply for that and I apply for food stamps, I'm now in trouble because my father lied and now he's caught. Now my father's caught. But then what happens? I lose my entire life. My mother passes away. She's drinking, she's drugging, she's going nuts, she's seeing people in the hallway. And I'm somehow the problem. Not them. Not the crazy people seeing shadow people in the hallway. Not the mother who is jealous of toys. Not the woman slipping a child pills. Not the 4 years of missing education. Not all the druggings, not the over medicating, not the lies to my doctors that are preventing me from getting medical care today. None of that is a problem. Instead, today, if you asked my father, he would say it's all my fault somehow. He'll come up, oh, he's mentally ill. No, he's just a drug addict. Wait, which one can I use this time? Wait, which one will you believe? Well, what shithead story can I tell you for you to believe me and stop trying to help our son? Anything. Is there